and women, we praise and thank Thee for this beautiful land, Namibia. Let Thy abundant blessing and wisdom, therefore, descend upon us here in this National Council, and grant that we may humbly and responsibly deliberate on all matters entrusted to us for the upliftment and welfare of the citizens of this country. We ask all this in the name of our Lord and the Liberator, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you. Let us affirm. I solemnly affirm that I will be faithful to the Republic of Namibia and its people. And I solemnly promise to uphold and defend the Constitution and laws of the Republic of Namibia to the best of my ability. So help me God. You may be seated. Honorable members, the House is called to order. I have some announcement to make. Honorable members, kindly be informed that there will be an information session immediately after the chamber in conference room G4. Immediately after the chamber, there will be information sharing in G4. Secondly, after the G4 meeting, there will be a meeting of the Implementation and Coordination Committee, of which all chairpersons of standing committees should take note of. Implementation and Coordination Committee meeting will also be held, and all chairpersons are invited to attend the meeting. Thirdly and lastly, the honorable members are kindly reminded that in terms of Article 74(3) of the Namibian Constitution, members of Parliament are required to disclose their financial and business interests. Furthermore, and you may be aware, Section 9(4) of the National Council Code of Conduct provides that disclosure of financial and business interests should be done before the 30th April of each year, or unless the Committee on Privilege decided otherwise. Therefore, now that the privilege have to decide, in terms of Section 9(4) of the National Council Code of Conduct, the Committee of Privilege has decided on the 30th June 2025 as the due date for the submission of the disclosure forms. I repeat the last paragraph, that therefore in terms of Section 9(4) of the National Council Code of Conduct, the Committee of the Privilege has decided that on the 30th June 2025 is the due date for the submission of the disclosure forms. Thank you very much, honorable members. Any petitions? I see none. Any reports of select or standing committees? I see none. Any reports and papers? I see none. Any notices of motion? I see none. Thank you. The Secretary will read the first order of the day.
Debate on second reading of the Appropriation Bill, Bill number 6 of 2025.
Thank you, Secretary. Any discussion? Honorable Njabula, I see your hand. You may start for us.
Thank you, Comrade Vice Chairperson, honorable members, for the opportunity. I rise in support of the Appropriation Bill, Bill 6 of 2025, which is presented under Article 106, Sub-Article 1 of the Namibian Constitution. This bill aims at meeting pressing need and development requirements of government and of our people. This year, Appropriation Bill marks a historical 10 point as we celebrate the 35 years of independence as a peaceful nation, as a peaceful and stable nation. Let us not take granted the unity and harmony that continue to define Namibia. At the same time, we celebrate a milestone achievement, the swearing in of the first ever female president of the Republic of Namibia, as the Vice Chair wrote yesterday. Her Excellency Nandi Ndaitwah Demperira. This moment reflects our country's progress, trajectory, and inspire praise of our democracy system. Honorable Chairperson of members, I stand today as a proud and encouraging member of this August House because of the unwavering commitment shown by the 80th administration toward youth development, youth unemployment, and job creation. This area remains critical for the stability and the prosperity of our nation. I am confident that a permanent solution to youth unemployment will be found, if not immediately, then in the near future, through the bold policy and deliberated action of this government. What has further motivated me, Community Vice Chairperson and members, my support for this year's appropriation bill is the allocation of approximately 24.8 billion to education sector, a sector from paramount importance. This allocation will undoubtedly enhance education development and uplift our human capital. The announcement by President Ndaitwah and her administration to abolish tuition fees starting from 2026-27 financial year is a visionary step. This decision not only underscores the importance of the government place on education, it will also provide relief to many parents who have long struggling and begged to secure tuition fee for their children. It's a progressive policy that will change life and drive inclusivity development. Honorable Vice Chairperson members, it's the right decision, it is the right time when many of our citizens are facing multiple and complex challenges, including poverty, flood, hunger, underdevelopment, and the lack of financial support. The policy is a well-calculated strategic move, and it has already been widely welcomed by Namibians. Its implementation phase will no doubt be met with further national celebration next year. Having said that, I would like to raise a matter of great national concern. the continued suffering of our former prime combatants. It's a painful and disappointing to see the very people who fought for our freedom continue to live in poverty nearly for 35 years after independence. These veterans are the father and the mother of our peace, our unity, and our national reconciliation. And yet, many of them not receive their what is rightful due to them. Year after year, veterans pass away, and some are now elderly, without ever benefiting from their constitutional entitlement. What is worse, honorable member, the children of these veterans are left behind, struggling to survive if they were not having parents who sacrificed for this country. I'm therefore asking what happened to a veteran benefit when he or she dies. And it's time to consider a policy provision that allows sponsors and children to inherit those benefits to ensure dignity and the continuity of support. Honorable Vice members, another area that speaks volume in this year budget is the allocation of 12.3 billion to the Ministry of Health and Social Services. While the increase is welcome, it's not enough. The ministry faces persistent challenge, including shortage of staff, dilapidated infrastructure, lack of essential medicine, and the long travel distance for many communities to access basic health services, sometimes 20 to 30 kilometers to the nearest clinic. We must be honest with ourselves if we are to arrest the situation and truly to improve the health and dignity of our people. Then more must be done. A realistic and a well-coordinated and people-centered approach is needed to ensure that no Namibian is left behind when it comes to health care. In conclusion, Vice Chairperson members, I fully support this appropriation bill. It reflects our progress, our national priority, and our potential. But let us not become complacent. Much still needs to be done, especially for our youth, our veterans, our poor, and our vulnerable. Let us continue to act boldly, compassionately, and responsible for the betterment of our people. So I submit and I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Njabula. Honorable members, you have to sign in. You want to close signing. So far, only 27 show presence. You cannot be with 15 outstanding. Sign in, please. Any discussion? I see the hand of Honorable Katura, Honorable Njabula, Honorable Shikongo, Ndingi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Vice Chairperson of the National Council, honorable members. I raise to contribute to the debate on this budget statement for the 2025-2026 financial year. This budget was introduced on the 27th of March 2025 by the new Minister of Finance, Honorable Erica Shafuda. It was presented under the theme Beyond 35 for a prosperous future for our nation. It was also presented in 10 parts, including the introduction and conclusion. This budget statement carries very higher level statements such as economical, domestic, fiscal, tax, budget policy pillars, and as well as financial administrative efficiency priorities over the MTEF from 2025 up to 2028. An ordinary citizen on the street is not interested in this higher level statement. What matters for them is only how my life has been improved and how my life has been taken care of by the government of the day. They ask us themselves, what will I eat? Where will I sleep to see the next day? Therefore, the budget must address the shortcoming in every OMAS, office, ministry, as well as agency, so that it can come up with programs which positively touch the life of the people. Her Excellency, the President of the Republic of Namibia, in her address on 24 April 2025, the State of National Address, I quote, "We are too few to be poor. We can eradicate poverty." This was repeated in her maiden speech when she became the President of Namibia on 21st March 2025 under the theme, Unity in Diversity, Natural Resources, Beneficiation and Youth Empowerment for Sustainable Development. And even further said, we cannot expect different results if we do things in the same way, in the same manner, day by day, week by week, month by month, until the end of a financial year. Therefore, I encourage all members of the society to work together to use the budget. As Namibians, we must focus on the implementation of the policies and programs to create jobs for our youth, for our young people, and bring about tangible socio-economic development. The OMAS, as the implementing agency, must ponder around these two noble statements and ask themselves the next questions. Are the Namibians too few to be poor? I want the OMAS to ask this question for themselves and for the Namibian people. For the sake of development, are the Namibians too few to be poor? Are they themselves as OMAS in position to accelerate the development and prosperity to our people? Honorable Vice Chairperson of the National Council, honorable members, if the OMAS can get questions answered on this manner, then we might see that the budget being properly used. And I also read in the Namibian Friday that the National Assembly approved the budget after long discussions and after long misunderstanding each other, but at least the budget has been approved. Therefore, before I conclude, there are a few issues among many which I want to mention. Number one, from the president's speech, she said, political parties needed to find a way to fight retrogressive actions and must pass a law to ensure 50-50 gender, women and men representation in parliament. Therefore, so far it's 39. But we want to have 50-50 gender. This is in terms of gender, so that we have to look at ourselves. And I also encourage members to read Matthew chapter 7, verse 3 to 5. Read it. You cannot ask to remove a splinter from somebody's eyes instead of a wooden beam in your own eyes. This I refer that we have to make sure that we clean our own yard. The gap between those who have and those who don't have is becoming wider and wider. It needs to be narrow.
He's looking on the 5 women in National Council.
Decentralization policy is no more under discussion. When will decentralization policy be discussed? We want so that every ministry, every OMAS should be decentralized in regions. Then development will accelerate. Unemployment is very high and is unacceptable higher. I don't want to leave out that we are unsafe on a daily basis in our environment. Therefore, as from her excellent speech, she said that there should be police patrols, visibility in our area. We are not safe. If you go in Rundu, starting from Kehemu to Sauyema, if you walk around, you won't see even a police officer. Even in Windhoek here, I happen to be in Rwanda, Kigali. You cannot go a distance longer than 2 kilometers without seeing a police officer. That is safety. What about Namibians? We are not safe. I want to conclude, Honorable Vice, by saying we need to see the accountability report from the OMAS at the end of each and every financial year. Before we go on with a new financial year, we must see what achievements have been done, what have been achieved, and what are the challenges to be taken on. And with these few remarks, I support the budget. Although the budget, some people say it's not enough, nothing is enough, and I so submit. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Katuga. Honorable Shikongo.
Thank you, Honorable Vice Chairperson, Honorable members. I also rise to make an input, a very general one, on Bill 6 of 2025. I wish to begin by commending the national government through the Ministry of Finance for its continued commitment to equitable development and for prioritizing public investment in line with national recovery and transformation imperatives. Honorable Vice Chairperson, honorable members, Oshana region, the home to over 230,000 citizens. 230,000. 100,000. Continue to serve as a strategic economic and administrative hub in the north. Our region has witnessed steady urbanization, very strong demographic growth, and commendable investment in social infrastructures. However, these gains remain challenged by persistent socioeconomic constraints such as youth unemployment, inadequate rural infrastructures, limited access to clean water and sanitation, rural electrification, and weak integration of informal economy units into mainstream development. Guided by our strategic plan 2025-2030 and local economic development strategy, Oceania Regional Council has identified priority interventions aimed at promoting inclusive economic growth, human capital development, and resilience at both household aspirations, aligned with the objective of 2020-30 and the SWAPO Party Manifesto Implementation Plan. Honorable Vice Chairperson, honorable members, my general statement and input, therefore, seeks to appreciate the allocation under some key votes, such as urban and rural development, education, youth, agriculture, water, and health, but also to call for a strategic augmentation of funding. Such support will be essential to enable each constituency to implement catalytic development projects ranging from youth agro initiatives and fish farming to ICT expansion and rural clinics and renovation of existing dilapidating clinics and settlement formalizations. I trust that this input will help inform policy decisions that are inclusive, pro-youth, gender responsive, and locally grounded. Honorable Vice Chairperson, honorable members, allow me also to critical focus on key votes, as I mentioned earlier, and reflecting both appreciation for allocation and recommendation or suggestion for targeted increases for them to meet the socio-economic aspiration of our regions. On urban and rural development, Honorable Vice Chairperson, honorable members, allow me to express my sincere aspiration for the continuous support under this vote 17, which remains the cornerstone for the regional development. However, the challenges faced in our constituencies, including aging public facilities and slow pace of upgrading growth points for settlements, lack of access roads, and rural sanitations are some of the factors impeding socio-economic progress. In line with 2030 and NDP 6, I therefore suggest and propose that each constituency to implement a catalytic project such as village cooperatives, agro-processing parks, or youth enterprise hubs, serviced with basic infrastructure such as electricity, access roads, water, and sanitation, thereby stimulating employment, especially for youth. On youth, sport, and national service, Honorable Vice Chairperson, honorable members, I really acknowledge and support the allocation made to these votes and still strongly advocate for a targeted increase to support youth-focused employment interventions. I therefore propose for the establishment of regional youth agro-incubation centers supporting fish farming, poultry production, and climate resilience horticulture. And I also propose the expansion of National Youth Service presence in rural constituencies for public works, sanitation, water harvesting. This would provide both income and skills. As an African proverb says, and I quote, "A child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth." End of quote. Let us invest properly and heavily in our youth to avoid social unrest tomorrow. On ICT, Honorable Vice Chairperson and Honorable Chairperson, digital exclusion remains a significant rural challenge. I therefore propose and suggest that the Ministry extend rural ICT centers to all constituencies across our regions, offering internet access, e-learning tools, and digital job platforms. I also suggest the establishment of innovation hubs to support tech-driven youth entrepreneurship in areas like commerce and coding. Investment in the ICT is not only about connectivity, but it is also about empowering communities to leapfrog in the future. Honorable Vice Chairperson, honorable members, water scarcity continues to constrain development. Many constituencies are faced with severe challenges where communities travel long distances to access water, and there are also challenges of water flow pressure across our regions. I therefore propose dedicated funding to rehabilitate existing aging dams, drill boreholes, and install solar-powered pumps, excavate new dams, harvest water for both animal and human consumption, and for irrigation purposes. This will not only provide water security, but also catalyze rural agro-enterprises development.
Honorable Mbangu, you stand on the order of.
So it's just a question to the Honorable. He's proposing a lot of things and I fully agree with you. He's talking about water, but I want to hear from him because not emphasizing whether the budget allocation for water now is enough or not. I wanted to hear from him. Is the budget allocated enough? Because just talking about water, let's the constituency do this and that, but is this budget enough? And if it's not enough, what does he think about this budget?
Honorable Mbangu, our chamber is still on the second reading. Where any ways you can mention, we are on the second reading. Still, the third reading is coming.
Thank you, Honorable Mbangu.
You may proceed, please.
The analysis of each vote will follow, where I will also be able to indicate as to how much we're supposed to be allocated to that vote for the expansion or for the rehabilitation of dams and also for the water provisions. I thank you.
Congo, don't answer, just go. Where's our IT Okay, honorable members, order. Let's try to switch off ours.
Thank you very much. Honorable Vice Chairperson, on education, education is the greater or the great equalizers. And without access to quality learning, our youth cannot participate meaningfully in the economy. I value the allocation made, but it must be responsive to the growing demand of population needs in both rural, peri-urban, and urban setting schools. Education infrastructure deficit remains stuck across our regions. I therefore suggest the following to be considered: construction of new primary schools and hostels, renovation of more dilapidated schools and hostels, especially in Oshana, support for early child development centers in all settlements, provision of mobile learning resource, example, solar-powered digital hubs. Honorable Vice Chairperson, honorable members, in conclusion, our regions, Oshana in particular, remains committed to ensuring that every Namibian, regardless of where they live, has an equal chance to thrive. I'm merely not requesting more funds, but I'm requesting all of us to invest in the dignity, productivity, and potentiality of our people. Let us move from budget lines to a bread lines, from strategic plans to a targetable change. As John Kennedy said, and I quote, "The time to repair the roof is when the sun is shining." I therefore invite the Treasury, ministries, and all honorable members to work as a team in this journey of national, regional, and local transformation. I therefore support the bill, and I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Congo. Switch off that mic. Honorable Amjinji, let's try. It is back now, honorable members.
Yeah, thank you very much. Honorable Vice Chairperson, Honorable Member, before I make my statement to the budget, first and foremost, I want to join our Vice Chairperson for congratulating our High Excellency, Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, for swearing in as a President of the Republic of Namibia, and also for appointing High Excellency Rusia Witboy to be our Vice President. Furthermore, I would like to congratulate my comrade that we have served together in the Central Committee of the SWAPO Party Youth League from year 2007 to year 2012. They are Dr. Arian Gurare, one of my political mentor, and he was the secretary of the SWAPO Party Youth League by then, for being appointed as a Prime Minister of the Republic of Namibia, Zikiti. And also I would like to congratulate Honorable Natangwe Ithete. We served together in the Central Committee for the Youth League, the SWAPO Party Youth League, for being appointed as a Deputy Prime Minister. Congratulations. And also I want to thank Honorable Comrade Bacon Ekundi. We served together in the Central Committee of the SWAPO Party Youth League. By then, was also a Deputy Secretary of the SWAPO Party Youth League, for being appointed now to become a Cabinet Minister, Minister of Work and Transport. Congratulations. And all Cabinet Ministers, thank you very much. Honorable Vice Chairperson, I welcome this resounding budget, Appropriation Bill, Bill 6, 2025, with a resounding amount. But I want to see this budget addressing unemployment among the youth, especially teachers, nurses, and other graduates who are roaming around the streets looking for a job. I'm very much disturbed by the way these young people are being treated by those who have the responsibility to run recruitment process, especially in the Ministry of Education. Parents and guardians are spending a lot of money to send their children and grandchildren to attend interviews at various schools, while some schools already have their preferred or chosen candidate. My question, why qualified teachers are being called for the interview for a specific subject if they are qualified for them? So you can find teachers, hundreds, even 400 teachers called for the interview to stand for one post. So the Minister of Education should find a way how to place these teachers. Instead, our young people running from one school to another, running from one region to another to attend the interview. We should not punish these young ones for traveling. Therefore, as I propose, the Minister of Education should direct schools to stop calling these qualified teachers to the interviews, but to find a mechanism how this should be recruited. And also I propose if the budget of the Ministry of Education is not enough, I propose the mining sectors, the fishing sectors should contribute to the Ministry of Education and also to the Ministry of Health so that we can see all these young unemployed being recruited. Honorable Member, Honorable Vice Chairperson, Honorable Member. So when you happen to go to the police cell and the correctional facility, they are overcrowded of awaiting trial offenders. Some of the offenders, they have just committed very minor things which just need to be concluded in a very short time of period and need to be sentenced to serve either in a community service. But sometimes these cases, they are being postponed for more than 6 months, which put the burden to the government to feed these offenders while they are police custody, but they are not yet sentenced to serve. Therefore, I propose the magistrates, Office of the Ombudsman, should start visiting the police cell correction facility in a monthly basis to acquaint themselves with the living conditions of those facilities, so that when they go in the courtroom, they will not just postpone, but to make decisions based on the reality on the ground. On one way to reduce overcrowding in police cell and the correctional facility, the only way to do is when we start budgeting for the construction of remand facilities. A remand facilities is a facilities that need to accommodate the awaiting trial offenders before they being sentenced. They should not be kept in the police cell. They should not be kept in the correctional facility, but they should be kept in the remand facilities. So, by doing so, the police cell will only keep offenders who are just waiting to be taken before the court. While they come, while they become in the court, then they have to be sent to the remand facility. While also the correctional facility will just to accommodate those already sentenced to serve their term. In Oshana, this year, most of the schools were closed due to the flood water. This is because most of the schools in Oshana, they don't have access law, which make it difficult for the teachers to reach school. Therefore, I propose all schools need to have access law to avoid disruption of teaching and learning process. When it comes to the Ministry of Health, we want to see the budget considering the construction of a clinic in Uvudia constituency. This year, the government has spent a lot of money using helicopters to lift people who are sick, bringing them to Oshakati. But if we happen to construct a clinic in Uvudia constituency, it also cater our people not to travel long distance to access health. A health nation is a productive nation. I so submit, Honorable Vice Chairperson, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Honorable Mjinji. Any further discussion? Let me see how many people do. One, three. Honorable members, I hope we have come to the time for us to break. When we will come back, we will continue. Is that in order? The House stands to break for tea.
demonstrate a phenomenal courage and an intentional leadership. I want to salute her for that. And I also want to congratulate Excellency Lucia Vetboy for being appointed as the Vice President. And similarly, also want to congratulate Dr. Ngurare for being appointed as a Prime Minister and Honorable Natango Ifete for being appointed as a Deputy Prime Minister. Dr. Ngurare is, with no doubt, a leader of our generation. And he's a humble gentleman. And I think our cabinet is in a good hand. Now, I have few concerns to raise, honorable members. During the President's maiden State of the Nation address, our esteemed President articulated a very clear and a compelling agenda that focused on economic and social advancement. Her visions emphasizes the importance of equitable progress across all sectors of society. A vision that resonates deeply with the aspirations of our people. However, as we delve in the details of the appropriation bill that is before us, the very driver of development and employment creation in our country, we must confront a troubling reality. I went through the appropriation bill, and it is disheartening to observe that the current budget continues to perpetuate an urban biased development model. This trend exacerbates the disparities in growth between urban and rural regions and creating a divide between the haves and the have-not. The allocation with the current budget appears to be grounded more in historical budgeting practices that is a nuanced understanding of the needs of a community. For instance, we see that the highest development budget is allocated to Commerce region, followed closely by a Rongo region. And in stark contrast, regions like Kavango East, Omusati, Ohangwena, Kavango West find themselves with the lowest allocations. Now, these imbalances is not just a statistics, honorable members. It is a reflection of an uneven opportunities available to our citizens. To put it into perspective, for you to understand it properly, the budget for Commerce region alone translates into a staggering 24% share of the total development budget. And Commerce, as all of us are aware, is already developed compared to those rural regions that I've mentioned. While it is essential to recognize the developmental needs of our capital, we cannot ignore the pressing challenges faced by our rural regions. They too deserve our attention and investment, for true progress cannot be achieved when our communities are left behind. I seek the concurrence of this august House to request our caring President to intervene and increase the capital budget for our rural regions too. My second concern is the allocation for vote 38, which is water. I heard my brother, Honorable Skong, was also talking about the issue of water, but then didn't want to mention about the allocation. But to be honest, water and marine resources, which stand at 954,475,000, the budget allocation itself is not enough. It's not enough. We must ask ourselves, are these funds being allocated in a manner that addresses the pressing water needs of our rural communities? Are we ensuring that every Namibian has access to these vital resources regardless of where they reside? Last year budget, the 2024-2025 budget, vote 38, water, was allocated 1,039,023,000. It was only one vote, only water alone. Compared to this year's allocation, there is a reduction of 84,548,000. And to make the matter worse, Last year it was standalone vote for water. This year it's water plus marine resources. And the budget has been reduced. Fisheries, for example, also have got its own challenges. They don't have enough patrol vessels. One of the planes that they used to patrol the sea is not in good condition, hence they only use it on land. Nathaniel Mawulili vessel, for example, honorable members, cost about $500,000 per voyage for petrol only. If you want to fill up Nathaniel Mawulili vessel or Kakurukaze Mungunda vessel, just for one voyage, one trip to the sea, petrol alone is about $500,000. And now we have water plus marine resources put in one boat. It clearly demonstrates and tells you that this allocation will become a challenge because it's not enough. It's not enough. So this small allocation will not be able to cater for both water and marine resources. It's imperative that we take a step back and reassess our priorities. We must advocate for a budget that is informed by relevant data and one that takes into account the diverse needs of our citizens. We need a budget that fosters inclusive growth, one that bridges the gap between the urban and rural areas, and one that uplifts every region in our country. Both 38 need an additional fund, and I humbly request our caring president to intervene. It's a matter of urgency. The other issue that I want to address here is on the issue of emergency budget that we have at our disposal, a budget that is crucial for the preparedness and the response effect of our nation. On Friday, last week, we heard a statement from Honorable Venani suggesting that we must cut 20 million from the emergency budget within the office of the Prime Minister to be channeled to Parliament for the construction of offices and to enhance parliamentary standing committee oversight function. And I disagree with him. While the concerns of the standing committee's functionality and the inadequate office spaces is a genuine concern, we can't address that at the expense of the poor. The government cannot cut from the project. The government can cut from other projects to address a concern, but not to touch the emergency fund. I feel compelled to disabuse that notion and to emphasize that the vital role that this budget plays in safeguarding our communities. The emergency budget is not merely an item, a line item in our financial planning. Honorable Amidiji mentioned about schools that are already flooded. Those are already challenges. It represents our commitment to being prepared. It ensures that we have the necessary resources available for immediate response to disasters. Be they natural, such as devastating flood, relentless drought, or destructive locust infestations, or man-made, like fire that threatens our land and livelihood. Without this budget, we risk leaving our communities vulnerable in the face of adversity. Currently, all 14 regions in our country are without a dedicated budget for disaster risk management. We have committees in all the regions for disaster. We also have committees at the constituency level for disasters. How much money do we have? Zero budget. And now someone is proposing that must cut again in that budget. What we are saying is that every regional council must be allocated a budget to deal with the disaster. Now, this lack of funds hampers the ability to operate effectively during emergencies. And we can't allow our citizens to suffer the consequence of inadequate preparedness. So, an effective disaster and emergency budget is essential for our government to respond adequately to crisis. It's also essential for the regional council to respond to those crises promptly. It's not just about managing emergencies, it's about protecting our citizens and promoting recovery and building a resilient future for all. There's another issue that Honorable Amidinji raised, and which I also felt compelled to support him as well. The issue of interview has become a problem. It can't be right to expect hundreds and hundreds of youth just to go and line up for one post. They have to attend, they have to make copies, look for transport money. Going there are 1,000 competing only for one post. So they are wasting a lot of resources. In my view, the current interview process that we have is not working. Most of the interview are inherently biased. And there are inherent biasness in the interview process that often manifests as white-collar crime. And it's very difficult to deal with it. When a person is interviewing, for example, one of the candidates whom they were schooling together, unconsciously he will be biased. And most likely will allocate more marks to that person unconsciously. So there's always that inherent biasness. Maybe the person speaks you speak the same language. That unconscious biasness will always kick in and will give him extra 2 or 5 marks. And it's happening. Interview can often be influenced by the unconscious biasness related to race. It can also be an issue of gender, socioeconomic background, or even educational institutions. If you were schooling together with that person, even without that person requesting you, your conscience will tell you that, we're together with this one. Let him give you extra 10. So there's always that inherent biasness in the interview processes. Therefore, in my view, let's do away with interview. And let's substitute that with, let's rely on the academic performance and the year of completion could create a more standardized and objective way to assess candidates. What I'm saying is that let's do away with interview. Let's create the placement system so that we feel positions should be filled up based on the year of completion. Those that completed in 1999 for education sectors, let all of them get a job before we come to 2000. Just like that, year of completion. So that at least a person knows that at the moment the government is now busy employing those that completed in 2023. For me, who completed last year, let's just look for piecework somewhere, because that list is not yet exhausted. I think that way we'll be able to address the challenges that we have, as opposed to subjecting our youth to this biased interview process that we have. And this could reduce variability in hiring practices and lead to a more equitable selection process. Those were my short contribution, Honorable Member, and I submit, and I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Mbangu. Any further discussion? Honorable Kennedy.
Yeah, Maiden Smith, please. Thank you, Vice Chair. Let me also join the others to congratulate Her Excellency Namdi as elected as the President of Namibia, and all her appointees from the Vice President, Prime Minister, and all the executive members. And in the same vein, let me also congratulate UDF Party for maintaining the 2 seats. That's a milestone. Yeah, we are happy with those 2 seats. Nevertheless, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, I also want to contribute to Bill 6 of 2005, the Appropriation Bill. I am a little bit worried, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, when it comes to the appointments made by the President to the Parliament. I am of the view that the presidential nominees must be subjected to the Parliament approval because of what we have all read in the newspapers about the appointees of the President. To avoid future embarrassment, let these nominees be subjected to the approval by the Parliament. Vice Chair, honorable members, there is a program under the Prime Minister's office, Drought Relief Program. Lately, this program have been changed into food vouchers. Some constituencies, in some constituencies, beneficiaries are receiving food vouchers, and with that food vouchers, they are getting food from the local outlets. But this program have only been in certain constituencies. I want this program also to be extended to all constituencies which are benefiting from drought relief. You know, we are the same people in the same country. And whatever is happening in the other constituency, the people are calling each other. And they are telling each other that, no, in Omusati, we are receiving food vouchers and we can buy whatever we want. And in whatever other constituency, the people are still getting drought relief. And they are thinking that us, the constituency councillors, are against them getting food vouchers and buy whatever they want to buy. So if the program is extended, let the program be extended to equally to all constituencies throughout the country. Also on the issue of healthcare system in Namibia, we are suffering, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, when it comes to the ambulance services in the rural areas. You may find that there is only one ambulance serving 4 or 5 villages. And once that ambulance have left village A to the hospital, taking another patient to the hospital, and if there is another emergency in another village, this patient have to wait until that ambulance come back from wherever they are to pick up this person. And when there is accidents happening in the rural areas, it's very difficult. We are losing lives because there is only one ambulance serving, for example, the whole Taurus constituency. And if the accident happened in which the ambulance is not available, I think this budget will address that issue of shortages of ambulances in our health at our health centers. The issue of shortage of medicine at clinics and hospitals is worrisome. I have a friend of mine which was admitted to the hospital a few weeks ago, and the family was forced to buy medication for the person, for a state patient, because they want this person to survive. So I really believe that this budget will address the issue of shortage of medicine at local clinics, hospitals, and health care centers. I'm coming from a mining area, Madam Vice Chair, and it's very disheartening to understand that the locals are not benefiting from minerals in their local areas. I want the minister to address the issue of transparency in issuing of mining licenses, EPLs, and so on and so forth, and assure that locals are benefiting from the resources in their area. Currently, Madam Chair, you will find that someone from Oshana, oh, he's sleeping. Someone from Oshana or someone from Katima is benefiting from resources which is in the West, which is unfair to the locals. Oh, they are Namibians. Okay. Anyway, Madam Chair, I think I got your backup here. The beneficiation of locals for resources in their area must be a priority for the new minister. We cannot allow people to benefit on behalf of at the expense of locals. Locals, that's creating conflict between the local people and their leadership. And that's currently what is happening in Taurus constituency. The community is against the local leadership simply because they believe that locals are after the leadership have sold the mining rights to the foreigners. The disputes, Madam Vice Chair, there are disputes between traditional authorities and their subjects all over this country. And I'm appealing to the new minister to find ways how to settle all the disputes between subjects and their leadership across the country, from east to the west and from north to the south. There are disputes in traditional authorities. I think the best way even to solve this is that the minister must instruct the traditional authorities so that we must have a referendum on whether we still want to continue with the leadership or not. Otherwise, these disputes will cost lives in this country. The traditional disputes between the subjects and the leadership, the traditional authorities. Therefore, my submission will be, of my proposal will be, that we call on the referendum to solve this issue. I have indicated that currently there is a dispute coming on for the past 2-3 years in Taurus constituency between Taure Taman Authority and the subjects, some of the subjects in Taurus constituency. There is a group which believes that the leadership can do whatever they want, and there is a group which believes that before whatever they wanted to do, the leadership must consult with the subjects, so that we all must be on the same page of understanding what is happening in the jurisdiction area. And that leadership must have quarterly meetings with the subjects to inform the subjects about what is happening in their area of jurisdiction. And also, before leadership give mining rights to the investors, the locals must be consulted for them to give that approval. And don't worry about the time. The other issue also is Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, sorry. In Taurus constituency, perhaps it's the only constituency in Namibia without a proper sport field. There is no sport field in Taurus constituency where we can even host a constituency games, for that matter. How do you call the school athletics and school sports? We are relying on other constituencies to host our own games in other constituencies because there is no proper sport field. I hope this budget will also address that one.
Yes, I think so.
Let me also join the others when it comes to the water challenges. We are perhaps one of the regions which is having a challenge with water. For the past 2 or 3 years, Okombai area the seat of the constituency office, which area, the economical hub of the constituency, Omashete area, Tupuses, Svetskope are facing water challenges. There was a talks about water pipeline running through the constituency. And I don't know where it's end up. But I want the ministry to make sure that with the new budget, enough boreholes are drilled in the constituency. If we can drill boreholes, we provided enough pipelines from the water sources to each and every village and each and every town in Taurus constituency to make sure that people are having water, drinkable water for their daily use. Lastly, Madam Chair, road infrastructure. And that one, I will deal with that one tomorrow. When we address the road fund bill, I will deal with that one tomorrow. So I submit, Madam Vice Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Kennedy. Any further discussion? Honorable Chief, Honorable Shimi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Vice Chairperson, Honorable members. Thank you, Honorable Kennedy, for doing your last contribution in this sixth session. You said you are no longer going to come back, isn't it? Yes. Yeah, congratulations. Honorable Vice Chairperson, Honorable members, I rise to welcome and add my voice to the most debatable appropriation bill, Bill 6 of 2025. For those that have been following the National Assembly discussions, I take it that this year, appropriation bill sparked a very higher rate of debate more than ever, and it is our hope that the concerns raised will be addressed too. Honorable Vice Chairperson, Honorable members, 2025 is a year of hope, a new beginning that we all have created for affirmative future that we all dream of. A new Namibia lifting as its license towards the inclusive future for all. With these words, Honorable Vice Chairperson, please allow me to congratulate our first female president, Her Excellency Comrade Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah, on taking on this task and restoring the much needed hope, and that indeed the time is now. A time just like Agerine Davis said that I am no longer accepting the things I cannot change, but I am changing the thing I cannot accept. In the same vein, Honorable Vice Chairperson, please allow me to congratulate our Vice President, Comrade Rusia Witboy, on her appointments. Comrade Riangurare on his appointment as a Prime Minister. Comrade Natangwa Ithete on her appointment as a Deputy Prime Minister. Comrade, yeah, he is here, thank you. Comrade Sarah Kuongerwa Amadira on her election as a first female Speaker of the National Assembly, and our very own product of this chamber, Comrade Fripos Katamelo, as a Deputy Speaker. A warm congratulations to all the appointed Cabinet Minister and Deputy Ministers. Comrade, you were all called to serve. Please remember that unity is a strength, and we are a winning team. Together we shall accomplish. Comrade, Honorable Vice Chairperson, Honorable members, This appropriation bill cannot just be another one of many that we have seen and passed. This year's appropriation bill marks the beginning of what President's team and business unusual. This appropriation bill is the gateway to Namibia's next prospects. In his statement of national address, our president emphasized that we are too few to be poor, and therefore every dime and pen of this budget need to impact those that are intended to benefit, and no dollar should go unaccounted to. Job creation for the young people and the bringing up of socio-economic development should be our key priority in this nation. Therefore, Honorable Vice Chairperson, it is our collective hope that this year's budget translate into a life-change opportunity for our people. The people of Namibia, Honorable Vice Chairperson, awaited more than ever the SWAPO party to deliver on its promise, and this budget is a stepping towards the realization. We welcome the initiative and the good thought by the Minister of Education, inaugurated the NASAF Bank into a Ministry of Education, a step towards the free tertiary education, ensuring by Her Excellency the President in her statement of national address. This wonderful initiative must be welcomed with all applause, as it marks the beginning of a relief on the parents who struggle and have sleepless nights in search of funds to send their children to universities and other institutions of higher learning next year. That struggle shall be no more, dear parents. However, our collective call is starting early to prepare, so you meet the ministry halfway in providing key needs for your children, dear parents. We would like, therefore, to call on the Minister of Education to develop a well-thought plan on the implementations of this great initiative, taking into considerations that the accommodation will be a challenge for many students, as the loan used to assist in catering for accommodations and transport fees through refund that the students usually used to get from NASAF. As we develop the implementation strategy, let's be thoughtful of the less fortunate and ensure that our plan is all inclusive. Honorable Vice Chairperson, honorable members, while this initiative, a free tertiary education, is an excellent thought, I am calling on a government to ensure that all efforts are dedicated towards maximum revenue collections from all streams, so that we can ensure that this plan comes to a realization with no financial hindrance. We have a lot of key revenues collections streams such as NAMLA, Epangelo mining, that one, the bees, Namibia, Prisma, NWR, Country Crab, and the Governing Board of Namibia that can collect maximum revenue through. This Bango is disturbing me now. Through biting, but to date is not empowered fully to mention but a few. Still on education, Honorable Chair, our corrective call should be to ensure that the government schools are capacitated with all necessary aid and equipment, and that the learning environment is exceptionally and parallel to the private schools. it's not good the government school to be defeated by the private schools. As we are governing, we should make sure that our government schools should have a good environment to attract the parents to make sure that their kids are well attended in good environment. It is also many wishes that this budget address access and connecting roads to school and clinics. Our teachers, health workers, and people suffer from years in years out during the rain season. Schools are crossing and learning are affected. Access to private health care is halted, yet assessments are being done and action is a minimum. We send committees out for benchmarking and so, and if these reports are being tabled in this house and being channeled to the relevant ministries, let's have a use of this report and make sure we have improved for the accessibility of people in all sectors of government. We therefore call the Minister of Works and Transport to prioritize and at least one school each financial year in every affected constituency until we have addressed the situation fully. That now I refer to the roads accessibility to schools and other government institutions. Honorable Minister, please do something on this transport means for the people in terms of don't rely much on distances, but the accessibility is more important than if we just consider on the distance. While on this point, please allow me, Honorable Minister, Honorable Chairpersons, to congratulate Honorable Ministers, those who are always on the ground every time, 24/7, ensuring that equitable services are delivered. Continue with a good work, comrades and friends, and please ensure corruption is outrooted in all government ministries and institutions. We want development to reach our people, and no pain should be turned unaccounted to. In my conclusion, Honorable Vice Chairperson, Honorable members, the veterans of our liberation struggle are engaging in time. Again, they are departing. Our veterans deserve a befitting send-off, and it is therefore my call that the Ministry of Defense and Veterans Affairs come up with a database categorizing all veterans while alive and ensure that when they are no more, the database assisting in allocating type of send-off for them rather than awaiting for the honorable councillors and governors to write recommendations for them while they are no more. This process is a time-consuming and a prolonging the mourning period of our heroes and heroines, and it's also disappointing the family members of being awaiting the responding from the government. Instead, for us as a government, to organize ourselves fully and make sure we are no longer going to cause any inconvenience during the preparations of the period of our mourning, the heroes and heroines of our family members. In my conclusion, Honorable Vice Chairperson, it's our continued hope that service deliveries is interested in all of us, and we stand ready to serve the Namibian nation with utmost diligence. May every dollar appropriated come to really realizations of equitable development for mother and Namibia. With these few remarks, Honorable Vice Chairperson, Honorable members, I so support the bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Shimi, Chief Whip. Any further discussion? I see none. Shawiyonja. Honorable Shawiyonja.
Thank you, Honorable Vice Chair. Mine is just a short contribution.
on the appropriation bill. Maybe first let me start by registering my disappointment in the barbaric way of killing that were recently taking place in Ochonjupa region, specifically Ugahanja constituency, where we lost lives of 3 young people at the hand of people who have no conscience, people who think that they can do what they can do with somebody else's life. But what I wanted to say is that we should always preserve the Namibian Constitution, specifically on Article 6, that speak about the protections of life, Article 8, that speak about the respect for human dignity, and Article 10, that talk about the equality and protection against from discrimination. Coming back to the appropriation bill, I want only to say that when you look at this budget, it's more people friendly. It speaks to people. You can see how it is crafted, because it spoke more about how to promote economic development, the protection on social spending, and even the promotion of domestic food production. One also want to commend the Minister of Finance, because when you look at the budget itself also, they have taken serious consideration when it comes to the public service employment medical aid scheme, because this is also one way where people are really, this system is somehow, because you have been to doctors, but throughout the month, 4 to 5 times you will receive SMS saying your deduction has been received. To an extent that sometimes you wonder and ask yourself, now which one is this one? You end up forgetting that maybe, is this the one that I went the last time? Or are they then putting it maybe into phases when they are doing this deduction? But you can see from the minister's speech that there is a process how they want to streamline the operation of this. The other issue that has been of challenge to us, maybe also at the regional levels, is that the procurement system. It's also been addressed here to an extent that they want to address the issue of the bottleneck. There is even an advance, they have so advanced when it comes to the procurement court, because maybe also issues when it comes to procurement, some of them take so long that it deprives the community from getting the necessary services. So the understanding is that maybe with this court, the process will then be shortened, and also maybe the court might come to an extent where they are going to pronounce themselves that this issue must be solved within this time frame. Honorable members, Honorable Chair, another issue that is really positive but that needs serious velocity when it comes to it is the issue of the voucher system. But as much as one wants the voucher system to be introduced, you also don't want the omission, because now you then have 1,000 people on your database that are then benefiting from the drought relief food. But when you change it to the voucher system, I don't know whether it's the system or is it the staff that are operating with this, where you end up that some of the beneficiaries are then being omitted going forward, and then it becomes a challenge to us as regional councillors, because with the politics dynamics that we are living in, to an extent that you have sometimes been blamed is that councillor who have then removed certain people. Seriously, this need to be addressed. Maybe what we need to do before you even issue vouchers to a certain constituency or a region, maybe we need to double check with the administrative from the regional office just to see if you have removed, because we all understand that there are maybe people who are then beneficiaries on other programs that we are, and maybe as councillors might not be aware of. But the understanding is that if we just compare notes to an extent that we understand, because some people that we have put on this program, it's not that we don't know that there is an income at their houses, but the understanding is that you look at the representation of the people or the members at that specific house, to an extent that being a councillor, you look at it and say, Neyman, as much as these people are getting the 3.2, that was the threshold that was then used, the understanding is still that when you look at the household, you find households that have close to 20 to 25 people at one household. So those are the little contribution that I wanted to contribute on about Vice Chair. With those submissions, I want to thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Shavionja. Honorable Kazongaminya will be the last on this, since we didn't do a non-interaction notice. And we have 2 items to go up to 1 o'clock.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable. You can proceed.
That's fine. Thank you very much. First and foremost, my Honorable Vice Chairperson, I would like to thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I would also like to thank Her Excellency, the President of the Republic of Namibia, for her election and subsequent appointment as the President of this country, and then all the others in their different portfolios. And I also
Proceed.
Elected, and then whatever you want to say as the head of state of this country, that is up to you to decide. Your English. Thank you very much. I'm thank the President, the Speaker of the National Assembly, the Deputy Speaker, and everybody that has been really there now. And also my Vice Chairperson for sharing the House now. I have a few things that I wanted to. We have a new Finance Minister, Madam Shafuta. What is the surname there? Yeah, that is your surname. Because that is what you want to mention. That is her name, Shafuta. She is not a new member to this finance department. And really, as I'm standing and looking here, our debt financial stands at 165.9 billion, and that is 66.0% of our gross domestic product. That is what the nation's debt that we are having. So then we talk of, at times we are talking very good things. We have been in this house for now, whatever years, I don't want to mention the years, Honorable Tebele will become angry, but I'm always saying the problem that we are having as a country, we put money to projects, capital projects.
This May,
Honorable Mbangu, any discussion? I see Honorable Shavionja take the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Vice Chair. I can see you have got an assistant who's also instructing me to talk. Maybe I was just somehow moved by your contribution, especially on the last issue that you are saying. Honorable Mupanda said that we need to rotate or maybe become on contract basis. But I'm having a different feelings because we are not at NATAS where we are testing cars. This is a serious responsibility, and it needs an in-depth. You need to have the necessary understanding. I believe even the Chief Justice might have been struggling for the first 5-10 years. And mind you, just even take the last election that was then challenged by IPC then when they started. And then the outcome that came thereof. I understand a layman like me and you could have then come up with another. Not understanding the precautions that could have then come after. Because if you could nullify some of those elections, you will then be forced with people who have then taken decisions.
Honorable Shavionja, will you take this?
But I think I also need to start with you, Honorable Vice Chairperson. The reason why there is this interjection, they put it there for a reason.
I think I will give you the floor. Can
Yes,
you
but I want to
go
start
to your order, please?
I want to start with you, Honorable Vice Chairperson, because last time when I intervened and asked a question, you are saying they are not compelled to respond. The reason why it's in the rule, because something is not clear, you ask so that it can be clarified. But now, if when we are asking questions, you are saying, no, that one will be tomorrow, I think it doesn't serve any purpose because it's defeating the purpose why there is that rules in this chamber. Honorable Chavionja.
It is why
Yes,
Honorable Mbangu,
Yes.
I think you can take your seat.
Okay.
It is why I'm saying we are on the second reading, and it is for everyone. Honorable members should understand that this is a third reading, where we are going to debate vote by vote. Then we bring our ideas, and clearly there we can debate. That is a big debate. So I said for today, not for today, as a second reading, let's just be in general, because this is a time where you can touch to all votes, where you can also give your ideas. But when you two now responding like a debate, that's not what the House wants. So with that, I think we have to go in general debate. Is Honorable Chavionja in that line? Then I'll give you still time. If not, please, let's adhere to what we are going to say.
At the end of the day, otherwise it doesn't serve the purpose because we mislead the people outside there. He's responding to what I say. And I'm asking him so that he can clarify, so that even those that are following us should have a better understanding what is happening here. You can't just say that we cannot ask questions because it's a general debate. There must be clarity in order to help the audience out there. Otherwise, we mislead the audience, we mislead the whole country. I want to ask him, because I was given a chance.
In which order are you asking?
Rule 68. I want to ask Honorable Chavionja, are you saying all the judges that we have in these countries are incompetent, they can't lead? Because the argument here is that if you put a person in that position for 20, 30 years, that's very much dangerous. Every human being is inherently corrupt. That's why we must have
Honorable Mbangu,
yes.
I will just rule now this debate so that we go further. I know we want really to be in our own debate, but let's respect also. People are following not only us, is following everyone who's talking. Can we go ahead so that we come in tomorrow with our debate. Any further discussion with that? Honorable Shavionja, you will reserve your comment for debate tomorrow. Any further discussion? I see none. I now put the question that the bill be read a second time. Any objection? We agree to. The secretary will now read the bill a second time.
Judiciary Amendment Bill, Bill number 1 of 2025.
Thank you, Secretary. The Secretary will read the third order of the day.
Debate on second reading of the Public Procurement Amendment Bill, Bill number 3 of 2025.
Any discussion, honorable members? I see Honorable Kaisi. You may proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Vice Chairperson, honorable members. I rise to make a contribution on the second reading of the Public Procurement Amendment Bill, Bill 3 of 2025. First and foremost, let me follow others on congratulating the members of the National Assembly and also the election of the President, as earlier mentioned. And I will also add on congratulating my own party for coming in the National Assembly for the first time, getting 20 seats, with taking over to be the officially opposition party, with congratulating Honorable Ims Nashinge as our official opposition leader. Coming on the bill, the procurement is the key to every economy, to every country. So I really appreciate the Minister of Finance who presented the bill. It's very important that we establish courts, as we have seated with a lot of challenges on procurement. Back to our region, we have issues with the court case which was stood from the previous council up to, and it was only come to be completed during our tenure, and it affected our budget. Therefore, having a public procurement court, it's really essential, and I'm in support. I will discuss a lot tomorrow. I just put this in general. We are in support of this court to be established in Namibia. It's really important for our economy. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Kaisi. Any discussion? Honorable Kennedy, I see your hand.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. I will be very brief, maybe 30 seconds. I think, Madam Chair, amending Procurement Act in piecemeal will not solve our procurement problems. We all know that currently almost all public institutions is struggling with procurement. And I was of the opinion that if we amend the Procurement Act, we should have done it holistically to address all the loopholes in Procurement Act. Now we are only dealing with the procurement court. Tomorrow, the problems we are actually having almost the same problems in all the institutions. The staff members who are appointed to the board, the process of procurement, non-understanding of certain procurement processes by those who are appointed to the procurement board, the delay in procuring a simple items. Some of us at Erongo Regional Council, dear Madam Vice Chair, we are waiting now for almost a year to procure items for the beneficiaries which was identified by the constituency development committees to start with their small businesses. It's now taking a year. The person who have applied have even forgotten what have he applied for. Okay? So I think seriously, if we want to deal with amending the acts in the future, there must be a workshop before these things are bring to the parliament. There must be a workshops with all affected institutions so that we must address the loopholes in the acts for us to do it once and for all. Today we are dealing with the procurement code. Tomorrow, another article of another section, and after 2 years, another section. How many amendments must we have for one act? Look at regional councils and local authority acts. Maybe 25 amendments on that same act. So we must do away with amending the acts as it suits us, but we must do it to favor the institutions, to make it easier for those who are implementing the acts. So I submit, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kennedy. Any discussion? We see the hand of Honorable Mbangu, Honorable Richard, Honorable Kazongominya,
Thank you,
Honorable Sid Isa.
I don't know why the chamber is very quiet, but honestly speaking, the current Procurement Act is causing all of us problems in the region. All of us sitting here, we are facing that problem with regard to the implementation of the Procurement Act. At the moment, even the purchasing of material for income generating projects is taking just too long. The process, the bureaucracy is quite frustrating. I'm wondering why the honourables are quiet on these issues. So for me, I'm not excited with the proposed amendment of establishing the procurement court alone. Just as Honorable Kennedy have said, there was supposed to be proper consultation. There are many loopholes within the current Procurement Act which need to be addressed. One of the issues is a threshold of the regional council. We are limited. We struggled in Kavango East for the procurement committee to issue a tender on security because of the threshold issue. Unless they have to be referred here. Now, we have a situation where local authorities have a bigger threshold compared to the regional council. All those are hindering the effectiveness in the region. And those are the issues that are supposed to be addressed. Now here they proposed a procurement code. But the question is, how many complaints on average do we receive? What are the volume and the complexity of the procurement activities to determine that we truly want a specialized court? We have not been informed about the volume. How many complaints do we get in a year that would warrant for us to have a procurement court? Because it's supposed to be informed by a study or statistics that at least we have received this complaint, now we need a court dedicated for that purpose. We've not been told. The loopholes within the procurement system. If the staff members, for example, want to commit a white-collar crime, if they want to dish out tenders to their friends, you can't do anything, especially for us politicians, because we don't interfere within the process. It can still be done. And there are many loopholes there. I would have loved if maybe we could have proposed for and electronic procurement processes so that we can remove human interaction in the procurement process. I think it has worked very well in countries like India, where you have electronic procurement. A person just complete a form there electronically, you do the evaluation electronically, you can't go to court because everything is just electronic. And those are the issues that we're supposed to address. I think going forward in future, they must not ignore this very important house, this house of review. There must be proper consultation with the national councils on most of these bills. Because the national council represents the masses. We are representing the constituencies. We are coming from the region. We know the challenges in the region. All 14 regions are represented here. We know the problem that the citizens are grappling with. And we must be consulted. I'm pleading with the ministry, going forward, we must be consulted. We can help them to do the right job because we know every problem in every region, because every region is represented here. That were my short interventions on the public procurement bill. To be honest, this is just a piecemeal amendment. It won't address most of the issues within the procurement issues or the barriers that are there. I so submit. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Mbangu. Honorable Kazongominya.
Thank you very much, my honorable.
Honorable Kazongominya, can you take the floor?
Yeah, the honorable Vice Chairperson. I'm also in concurrence with the two honorable members that have spoken before me. You know, we have issues with the procurement and all the delays when money was not spent within the financial year. All these delays is always referred to the procurement system that we are having. Now today, we are talking of a procurement court. And then when you hear who will be the people that will be dealing with the procurement court, then now we hear of the High Court judges. The Judge President of the High Court of Namibia is the one that will preside over these procurement issues. I don't know, are we escalating another delay after all the other delays that we are having? Because I wanted to be told, if there are litigations for procurement that have to be done in Maheke region, now we did not do it properly there. Now it escalated through a review panel. There is another review panel. And you are talking of a period also for the review panel to go through what have happened so that they can refer it to the procurement court. And then the judge, within 14 days, to put up a date for where this litigation is going to take place. I don't know in Namibia, do we want to solve things or do we want to prolong things? I'm not talking to you. Do we want to solve things or do we want to prolong things? Because this whole thing to me is just a way of another prolong and prolong and prolong and prolong. At the end of the day, where are we heading to? What is the need to establish this again? Because now this piecemeal, there is a problem with the Procurement Act. Let us go back to the Procurement Act, identify all the shortcomings within the Procurement Act, and then we amend it once and for all, so that it can suit our work and whatever we are trying to do as service delivers to our public. But now, today we come up with this one, today we come up with this one, so I don't know where are we heading to, and what is the need to do this. My proposal is, I don't agree with the procurement court in total. That is the short and the long of my story. Really, I don't see the need for it. If there is problems with the Procurement Act, let us go through it, amend what we need to amend, and then see what is the way forward. But now this piecemeal and the court, and to talk of the High Court, how many things do they have already on their shoulders that are for years and years. Now you're adding another responsibility, which is really very, very crucial and very important. Now you give them to the High Court judges. Will they have time even? Thank you very much, my Honorable Vice Chair. But in conclusion, I'm not going with the proposal of a procurement cost. Thank you very much.
By tomorrow. Thank you, Honorable Kazongominya. Honorable Richard, you have the floor.
Honorable Chair, Honorable members, today is a day that we are happy, all of us in this house. But coming to the Public Procurement Amendment Bill, Honorable Chairperson, honorable members, this bill is going to insert it with the main bill together, end of the day. Therefore, I'm just want to identify a few points that I feel it is necessary. I believe that this bill was triggered because of the corruption cases that is happening in the institutions or in the country concerning the issue of...
Honorable Richard, let me help you with your mic. Can you switch off? Okay.
Okay.
Try the next one to your neighbor.
It's okay now. It's okay, I believe so. It's somebody's cell phone is making that. No, it's working. It's working.
How's your this one?
No, it's fine, Mama.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Put away your papers maybe from
The
this one.
papers is very far. Papers is far, Mama. Is it okay now?
Okay.
Okay. It's somewhere there, Mama. Somewhere there.
Take away this one from your papers.
No, this is very far. It's very far.
Okay.
I must maybe go to the podium, Mama.
I think it,
Is it okay now?
yeah.
Okay. This procurement, public procurement bill has been triggered because of the corruption that is taking in the country, in the various institutions or even in the government. In some of them, Mama, the problem is there. Yes. Okay, can you hear me? Is it okay? Still on there? Okay, let's switch. Is it fine? Thank you. Okay, then that is been triggered from that side. Okay, thank you very much. From that side. Honorable members, my contribution is very small today, and I just have 4 points which I wanted to address. This bill has been triggered because, as I alluded already, because of the corruption that is taking place in the institutions or in the government. That is why the necessary or the assigned minister came up with this bill in the first place. Number two, what I'm asking is that concerning the judges, we have so many bedlocks already in this country. Now, are they going to, if the judge president is going to preside over these cases, will the judge president have enough time in order to pay attention to these cases? Or will he not create another bedlock again? Because already there are so many bedlock cases in the High Court that has not been finalized. Some of the people, I know of a gentleman that was having a case in the High Court that have even passed on, and it's 5 years ago, and that case has not been solved yet even. So many bedlock cases we are having. Now, when it comes to procurement, procurement is somehow a sensitive issue because the other party feels that he's been denied his right, and the other party feels that it is his time to benefit also. So therefore, I'm asking whether these judges or the judge who is going to preside over the case must be proper trained in order to understand the procurement bill itself. Well, that will solve that problem maybe. Therefore, I'm just appealing to the person who is going to handle the procurement cases that he must go intensive training first before he's going to sit there to give his judgment. But he must understand the Procurement Act very well. That was my small contribution, Honorable Chair, honorable members. Enjoy your lovely afternoon.
Thank you, Honorable Richard. Honorable Isaac.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Vice Chairperson, honorable members. If you look on page 2, it said to establish a public procurement court to adjudicate matters leading to public procurement. That is only one part, and I think that part is not important one. If you go to talk about the procurement, public procurement amendment bill, then we must look to the loopholes of this bill. There's a need for total review of this bill. Definitely. The processes are very cumbersome. The processes are taking too long. Processes are benefiting certain establishments and certain people, and other people are not benefiting. People in these bills, in these procurement boards, people throughout the country, in all the 14 regional councils, you will see the person who is heading these, Honorable Vice Chairperson, the person who is heading these procurement boards, these people are rich. They become rich. And their position is a deputy director. But you must compare the living standard of the other deputy directors in the same institution. You will see a huge, big difference. These people are benefiting somehow. There must be kickbacks to these people. There must be proxies to these people. Sometimes I'm thinking, why can't you rotate these people, these deputy directors, so that all of them must eat at least? Because only one person must eat for 45 years. It's unfair. They must also give other people the chance. You know how people are operating. I was by money, I know money. You know how people are operating. If you are rich, if you have money, you have no respect for people. And that you can see in the procurement system. They don't respect us. We must wait for a small amount, 2 years, 3 years to be paid. And we must be patient. We need, this is very serious, this one, we need bold presidents. President like the president of Burkina Faso. We must make, that can make unpopular decisions about this procurement thing. Otherwise, we will stay poor. All of us, yes. We will stay poor, all of us. And some people will eat. It's a very small group which is eating. And all of us know, all of us see these things. But we are not talking these things. That is not good, people. Unpopular decisions are needed now to change this procurement bill. So I submit.
Thank you, Honorable Isaac. Honorable Shavionja.
Thank you, Honorable Vice Chair. Maybe what I wanted is that sometimes we need to be guided by supporting documents because at times we then just go away from the route and then we become those unroadworthy vehicles. So what one want to make category first clear is that as much as you want to amend the bill, you also want to make sure that it doesn't lose its value why it was created. Because there were values attached to the procurement when it started. It's talk about the fairness, the transparency, accountability, efficiency, effectiveness, integrity in public procurement. So you don't want to dilute some of this value where you have created the whole. And then I also of the opinion that you only make amendments where you find challenges.
Are you answering or are you?
I'm talking in general. I'm not answering anybody. Vice Chair. So
Just go and talk.
okay, thank you, Vice Chair.
Talk to the public.
So what normally happens is that when you look at the procurement, to be fair, and our procurement is not really that as a whole, it's a bad document, not really. There are things that can then be procured through the whole process, but when you look at what then the minister was asking for, he was specifically looking at three issues: the establishment of public procurement courts, the definition of jurisdictions of courts, and then to expedite the whole process. And these are the challenges that we are facing on a daily basis. When you talk about the High Court, he's even saying there will be a special court within the High Court. So specific people that will just then be responsible for issues that have to do with procurement. So I'm of the opinion, Vice Chair, that maybe what we need to do for now, let's then put confidence in the ministry or the ministers and their staff for now, because their understanding is that all of us know, and I remember previously as members, we were even thinking of opinion of saying that why can we not exempt certain ministries maybe from procurement? And it was because of the delay in the whole process where we were saying ministries like health, why can it not be exempt? Ministry of Education, with the understanding that you wanted things to move a bit faster. But now when you read the whole submission, you then understand that at least somehow our plea have been answered one way or another. So with that submission, I submit.
Any discussion? I think the answers is coming. All of us issues are very important. Anything a person mentioned is very important. Any discussion? Any further discussion? I see none. I now put the question that the bill be read a second time. Any objection? We agree to. The Secretary will now read the bill a second time.
Public Procurement Amendment Bill, Bill number 3 of 2025.
Thank you very much, Secretary. Honorable members, thank you very much. At least we honor the time. That was the order of the day. I shall now call upon the Chief Whip to adjourn the House.
Thank you very much, Honorable Vice Chairperson, Honorable members. The House stands adjourned until tomorrow 9:30 sharp.
Thank you, Chief Whip. Honorable members, to G4, please. The House stands adjourned until tomorrow.
This isn't just a race, it's a movement, a vibe, and a celebration of you. The wait is over. The NBC Marathon